Hello and welcome back everyone. So in this video we will look at another front-end JavaScript interview problem. So this problem states that we need to create a pipe function that will pipe the functions in line with each other. Like if the functions are given in this order, then the output of this function should go as an input to this function, and similarly the output of this function should go as an input to this function, and the final output of the final function should give us the final result. Also, the first function should take the input as the argument that we provide here, right? So this is like piping. We are providing the initial input to the first function, then first function's output should go to the second function input, the second function output should go to the third function input, and the final function output should give us the final result. So this is the pipe function that we need to finally implement. So our final result should look like this, because initially we are giving salary as 10,000. So we initially giving salary as 1,000 and 10,000, and performing the operation on salary as adding 1,000 to it, and subtracting the 30% of its value by itself will give us this result. So let's try to implement this function. Um, I'll just clear this up, and yeah. So we know that we have an array of functions. We have an array of functions here. So what I'll just do also we also know that this itself is a function. This whole thing itself is a function because we are calling it here, right? This thing itself is a function because we are calling it here. So we know that it returns a function. We know that this returns a function itself, returns a function itself, and this take an argument. This function takes an argument. In this example, this is salary. Now what I'll do is I'll create a res, and I'll initially assign it to my argument, and I'll return res at the end. So what happens is this thing returns a function, and this function returns a result, and this entire function when called returns a result, and this is our result here. So now what I will do is I'll loop through the functions one by one. Fns dot length I plus plus. Now what I will do is I will call the function here. I will call the function and assign it to res. Fns I and res. So what this is doing? See, my first function is this, right? And my first function's input should be this argument. So my first function's input should be the argument here. Should be the argument here. So my first function input is the argument here, and I'm assigning that result to my res itself, because when I come to the second function, the input to the second function should become the output of this first function. So the output is the first function is this. So the output of the first function should become the input, and it will come as input here. And again, I am assigning the value result, because the output of the second function, will become the input of the third function, will become the input of this third function. So it will keep on going on until we are at the end, and at the end we will just return the result. We'll just return the result, and this is our result. And if I run this and check if it works, and I'm getting a value, I need to change it to let, because I'm changing the value again and again. I'll run this again, and I can see it's working. So this was a pretty simple piping function. We are piping functions in line with each other, and that was all for today. I'll see you in the next one.